Every cartoon fanbase has its toxicity, whether it be the fanbases surrounding the amazing digital circus, Rick and Morty, or the Loud House. However, today I'm going to be discussing the toxicity within the fanbase surrounding SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob is a show I and so many people grew up watching and have a lot of nostalgia for. However, just like with other cartoons out there, its fanbase is not exempt from toxicity. Let's go over a few problems I have regarding the SpongeBob fanbase. Number 1, people praising the ever-loving hell out of the first 3 seasons and the first movie while dismissing everything else as being bad, all while ignoring the good episodes that came after the movie. Look, I will not deny that the first 3 seasons are classics, but to act like they're the only good seasons just feels wrong to me. There are plenty of good episodes that came after the movie, such as Krusty Towers, Have You Seen This Snail, New Digs, Enchanted Tiki Dreams, Crabs a la Mode, Planet of the Jellyfish, Slimy Dancing, Patrick the Game, The Inmates of Summer, and my personal all-time favorite episode of the show, Skill Crane. As a matter of fact, I think seasons 4 and 5 of the show in general are great seasons and are just as great as the first 3. I can understand why people don't like seasons 6 through 8, or even the current episodes of the show, but seasons 4 and 5 really aren't that bad. Yes, there are a few episodes in those seasons that aren't that great, but that doesn't mean all of them are bad. Try to ignore the bad episodes and focus on the good ones. Number 2, people spreading misinformation about the series creator Steven Hillenburg. Ever since his passing in November 2018, there's been this debate that's been going on regarding if Nickelodeon is disrespecting Steven Hillenburg's wishes by making spin-offs. When making this claim, people like to point to this interview Hillenburg did in 2009, where he said he didn't see any spin-offs happening in the future. There's a massive difference between not wanting spin-offs and not seeing spin-offs. There are also people who were actually close to Steven who claimed that he was aware of and approved of Camp Coral. He was also involved with Sponge on the Run's production shortly before his death, which somewhat served as the pilot to Camp Coral. People also like to claim that Steven wanted the show to end after the first movie. And yes, that is true to some extent, emphasis on to some extent. Steven originally wanted the show to end with the movie, but it's not like he told Nickelodeon not to make any more episodes and they just made season 4 after he left. Steven was okay with the show continuing after the movie, and he gave the role of showrunner to Paul Tibbitt. As a matter of fact, season 4 was already in production before the movie even released. However, the bigger reason as to why he left the show was because he was drained out from working on the show at the time and wanted to move on to other projects. Contrary to popular belief though, Steven was still involved with the show after the first movie, albeit to a much more minor role. He stayed as executive producer, but was not involved as heavily as much. Steven would eventually become heavily involved with the show again starting with the release of the second movie, Sponge Out of Water, in 2015, and he would stay on the show for the last few years of his life until his late passing in 2018. I find it incredibly ironic how people claim Nickelodeon is disrespecting Steven Hillenburg, yet those same people like to put words in his mouth, which I honestly think is even more disrespectful than making spin-offs or continuing the show after the first movie. And finally, last but not least, number 3, what fans of the show consider to be modern SpongeBob. When you hear the term modern SpongeBob, which season comes to mind for you? Season 4? Season 6? Season 7? Well, if you answered with any of those, you'd be wrong. Season 4 came out over 20 years ago, it's not modern. Season 6 came out 18 years ago, it's not modern either. Modern means current or recent times. It's completely unrealistic to call something from 20 years ago modern. If you ask me, what I consider to be modern SpongeBob would be everything from season 12 to now. I understand that season 4 is past the classic era of the show, but that does not mean it should be called modern. I feel like the people who call these seasons modern don't even know what the term modern means. Anyways, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and tap the bell for post notifications. See you later.